Hello, everybody. I'm a practicing therapist and a doctoral student of psychology. As some of you guys know, most of my caseload, not all of them, are couples. Most of them are also married. Not all of them, but most of them are married couples. And well, they're all long-term couples, that's for sure. And I notice a trend with the avoidant and their wife or husband. I notice who they marry. And I notice that a lot of the people that they get married to are very similar. Like almost so similar, it's kind of like almost like the same person, which is a little bit of an adjustment. And I'm not even like exaggerating. Their significant other is very similar. Like so similar, it's like literally almost like the same person in terms of personality. And I'd love to talk about that with you guys so that you guys can see if maybe some of those traits you have as well, and you can contribute that to your relationship so that you guys can have a better chance of getting married if that's what you want, or at least staying together long term. Because I know some folks don't like the concept of marriage but want to be together for as long as possible, which is pretty much the same thing from this angle. The first one is someone who's able to manage their own emotions and tries to self-regulate. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect, and that's the most important part about this, because avoidants just want to see that you care about what they want. You don't have to be completely perfect. It's just trying. And this is something that a lot of avoidants bring up that is part of the reason why they're so happy with their relationship. And what is really interesting is a lot of avoidants, once they really commit, I've told you guys this before, once they really commit, they're really in that relationship. A little bit more common with male avoidants. They just don't, once they really are in it, they don't see an option to leave. Like divorce is not like, it's not in their mind. It's never going to be in their mind. Breaking up is not in their mind at all. That will never be a conversation that the avoidant particularly has. More common with male avoidants. It really is. And so this is one of the main precursors to them feeling like, okay, this is the person, never looking back, never leaving type of deal. And why? This is because it makes avoidants feel like they don't have to compare the way they, how do I say it? They self-regulate with them, like they manage their own emotions. And if you don't manage your emotions and you're asking them to self-regulate you, they feel like that imbalance is very prominent, and they feel like it's going to create issues in their relationship. It's going to make them have their shame wound because they wonder, why do you communicate differently than they do? It's also going to make them feel like you're overwhelming to them, and they feel like that's making them feel like you're taking their independence away. And they also feel like, is this something that we're just not compatible? So it makes them feel like their fear of failure. Did I pick the wrong person? And so this one hits a lot of their triggers, which is why it can be very beneficial if managed properly. They also feel like they won't have room to express themselves without you reacting. And so if you're able to manage your emotions, even if it's not perfect, they at least feel like you will make some effort to hear them out if they have something to say, which is really important because a lot of avoidants take their time with expressing themselves simply because they're not necessarily sure how they feel. And so this is really important, okay? The next one is someone who doesn't take the avoidance triggers personally. It's hard, and it's never going to be perfect because they take your triggers personally too, by the way. And so it's something that both of you guys should actually be working on. If you guys really are intending on trying to get married or staying together as long as possible, both of you guys should be working on the relationship. That's how I look at it, and I hope that you guys can see that as well. But why is this important, and how do you do it? Well, first let's talk about why. It helps them to feel like they can express themselves without kind of tiptoeing around their words. And they also feel like you can see them at their lowest and you still stay, which really builds trust. So how do you do it? I'm not saying that if they say something terrible and horrendous to you that you're just like, oh, okay, I'm so grateful that you're still with me. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, let's say, for example, they crash out and they say you're too demanding and needy and I can't stand this. And actually, maybe you're not being too demanding and needy. They just are putting that onto you because maybe they had a stressful day at work. Some avoidants do this. I see it a lot in couples therapy. And then later they feel so bad that they said it and they're like, no, I didn't mean it like that. You're not demanding and needy. I say those things when I'm mad because I always feel like that's how people are going to act when I'm stressed. Like it's almost like they're stressed. And so they're afraid someone's going to be demanding and needy because they know they don't have the resources at that moment. So it's not that they secretly feel that way when they're mad. They actually are literally triggered and they feel that way. So they're protecting themselves from that possibility. So that's why they do that, by the way. But let's say they said that. That's an example, right? Let's say we have a dismissive avoidant husband and he says that his wife is demanding and needy when he had a stressful day at work, and she like literally didn't say anything at all. And she's confused. Why are you saying that? I didn't even talk to you. Like, I barely talked to you at all. I just text you to get like butter from, I don't know, Publix before you come back home from work because I'm trying to make dinner. I didn't do anything, right? And she's like, normally you're fine with me doing that. What's the problem, right? But the thing is, what she can say is she can say, I think that you're taking your anger out on me because you had a stressful day at work, and that's very hurtful to me. Do you really think I'm demanding and needy? Because if that's the case, I feel like I can barely communicate with you at all. All I said was one thing to you. You were able to call them out, but you also didn't take it fully personally, but you asked them. You gave them your insight. Do you really think that's the way I am? Because this is new to me. Or you only say this when you're angry and I'm, getting tired of it. Whatever it is, you were able to communicate that, and they're able to realize that you can stand on your own 2 feet without taking things personally, but you still have expectations for them. That's really important, especially in marriages, right? Because you want that relationship to last and you don't want things under the rug or building up, okay? The next one is probably the most common one, and I think people don't like this one because it is really difficult. It's the person who's always been there. Avoidants are not, I don't know how to explain it. They're not the type of person that sits there and like perceives getting married and having this wonderful wife or this wonderful husband that looks like this and acts like this and has this amount of money. They're not that specific about those things. They're like that about some parts, like about your personality, more likely, but not about the whole big picture, like the white picket fence, nuclear family type of deal. They're not really planning that, and they have not been planning that since they were like a kid, right? And so usually they just choose the person that's there for them, that has been there for the longest time. So if you guys are like, I don't know, let's say you guys started dating in your 20s and now you're in your 30s, and then maybe you said, is it beneficial? Maybe we should get married. At that point, they might just be more like, oh yeah, that's a good idea, right? Because they think, okay, we've been together for so long, I trust this person. Yeah, maybe being married is an okay thing to do. They might actually just be more comfortable just because you guys have been together for so long. Whereas maybe you asked at year 4, they might have been like, oh, I don't want to get married. I'm not the marrying type. But then after, I don't know, double that time, they are like, oh yeah, sure. As if they never even said no. And I know people don't like that because that's a long time for waiting. Sometimes it's not 10 years though, folks. Sometimes it's 4 years. I'm just saying that's how it works in their mind. Because at first they were not thinking that marriage is too beneficial or that you're too integrated in their life. But when you're so integrated, they're like, okay, what's the point of not getting married? Because maybe when they're older and they're sick, they might need you to sign something, or when you're sick or you have a surgery, they can pick you up. They think about it in a logistical way. And as you guys get older and more long-term together, they realize that marriage might just have some actual physical, tangible benefits. So that's why that happens. And the next one is the person who challenged them without being overly pushy. The reason is because you're able to challenge their own beliefs while fighting for a cause that's separate from themselves. So the best way to put it is when you challenge their beliefs, when you say, I'd like you to take me on a date. That's a really common issue that you guys bring up, which is why I talk about it more often nowadays, because some of you guys say you guys don't go out or you guys don't see each other that often. So taking a date is a pretty common romantic gesture. So we're going to say that you feel like they never take you on a date. You want them to take you on a date next week. And you say that specifically, I want you to take us on a date next week. These are the places I'm okay with. This is the places I'm not okay with. Please set that up. Here's my schedule. Let's say you said that. You challenge their belief. And what avoidants do during this time is they actually do want to, if they care about you, they want to do that for you. And so if they do it, they can prove to themselves that they're not just a person who's inherently selfish and they only care about themselves. Because a lot of avoidants, they end up becoming selfish because of all their triggers and because they're so self-serving, because they're supposed to be, because otherwise they would be reprimanded as a kid. So whatever. They feel selfish. And they can prove they're not selfish by giving you what you want. And it also heals their trust issues and their feel of failure, because what happens is if they fail, you accept them, but you still want them to fix it. So if they didn't do that date, you can say, I'm disappointed. I would like that we can work on this. Is there a barrier? Can we talk about what can we do to meet in the middle? Or can you just set this up next week? Their relationship, so the avoidant and maybe their girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife, whoever, is still expecting something from them, but they haven't given up. right? So they're still being challenged, but they're also being accepted at the same time. This heals a lot of their wounds. It heals their fear of failure. It heals their trust issues, and it heals their discomfort with themselves. The fact that they are so selfish, and sometimes they don't realize why, or they don't understand because they were taught to be selfish at a young age, but now it's fighting against them. And so you accepted all those flaws that they have, and you're helping them. And that's why a lot of times this person is really important. So I hope this video is helpful to somebody. Oh, forgot to summarize. And I'll summarize and then we'll wrap it up. The person who's able to manage their own emotions, the person who doesn't take avoidance triggers personally, the person who's always been there, and the person who challenges them. I hope this video is helpful to somebody. Please like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.